Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be creating this eyeshadow look. It's a little bit more of a dramatic look. I created it for a holiday party that I will be attending, so if you're interested in seeing how I get this look, please keep watching, and if you like what you see, please subscribe below. So yeah, let's jump right into the tutorial. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing that I normally do before my foundation is apply some, I would say, I guess, serum or oil. So this is the oil that I've been using lately. It's called Rosehip Oil by Advanced Clinicals. It's an anti-wrinkle serum, and I just really like what it does to my skin. And it smells amazing. So it has like a little droplet thing, however you call it. It seems to escape me. So then I just put a couple of drops, about 3 largish drops, and massage that into my face. So anyway, once your skin feels nice and soft, I'm gonna go in with the Fenty Beauty Foundation, again like I mentioned, in the shade 210. I'm gonna start applying my foundation. I apply it with a damp beauty blender. I do separate sections, so I start with my forehead, and then I do my cheeks, and then I do my nose, and like all this. I find that's better for me. I focus a little bit better on each individual area. So I apply a generous amount of foundation, as you can see. Put a little bit on my eyelids. It looks a little pale with this lighting, but I promise you it matches my skin. Okay, so now I'm just gonna blend away with my beauty blender. I do not recommend swiping because you can kind of see the swipe marks. I mean, if you find it necessary, you do you, right? You can do whatever you want, but for me personally, I don't like to swipe the beauty blender. It just doesn't work for me. And as you can see, I blend it upwards towards my hairline. I just feel that it's necessary. Okay, so as you can see, it blends super nicely. So then a generous amount of foundation on this side. And then again, just blend away with your beauty blender. Make sure you blend that into your neck as well. So as you can see, the difference in my face, and it does match my skin tone pretty well. It's a little bit pale, but the good thing about my routine is that I use a little bit of bronzer, so it darkens it up just a little bit more. Okay, and then last, I'm missing my nose. Okay, and so for me that's nice and blended, and I really like the way it looks. I'm happy with the result. So the next step for my foundation is highlighting my under eye, my T-zone, and then my chin. Normally I would use a concealer to highlight. However, since I'm going to a holiday party, I want more full coverage, so I'm gonna actually be using a lighter foundation, and I'm gonna be using the Maybelline Fit Me the Matte Poreless Foundation in the shade 110, and that's Porcelain. That's a lot lighter for me, but I want it to be a highlighting foundation, not just a regular foundation. So I'm just gonna get a little bit of the 110 and highlight my under eye. For my under eye, I'm just extending it all the way out. And that really brightens up your whole face, as you can see the difference already. And there you can see how highlighted my face is now on its high points. You can do a little bit here on your cupid's bow. See, all done. Can definitely see the difference. It looks a lot brighter, and I personally love the way it looks. I love that it accentuates my features a little bit. It brightens up my eye a lot. There we go, I'm happy with that. And now we're gonna set the highlight and the rest of the foundation with a little bit of loose face powder, and the one that I prefer to use is the Airspun and loose face powder. This one right here. And this is a drugstore brand. You can find it at Walmart or Walgreens. I bought this one, I believe, at Walgreens for about $7, and I believe at Walmart it's a little bit cheaper, like $5 or $6. So I definitely recommend this powder. It smooths out your face a lot. So, this is what it looks like. As you can see, I use it a lot. So I'm gonna take a little bit and kind of dab it onto the lid of the container. And I'm using the E.L.F Cosmetics blush brush, and I use this to set my foundation. And I'm tapping off the excess. And I start by setting my under eye. Then I go on to set this highlighted area up here, and then kind of go upwards. And as you can see, it kind of evens out the foundation overall. You can't really see the two different colors as bad as you could before. And then I just do the rest of my face. And the purpose of setting with loose powder, translucent powder, is that it kind of just seals in all your makeup, and it also helps keep it from getting all creasy and seeing all your little lines. Alrighty, so the next step for me is bronzer. And I use the Benefit Cosmetics, the Hoola bronzer. And then I'm using the brush, the Kat Von D Shade and Light contour brush. And then I'm taking a little bit of the product. I kind of tap it like that, and then tap off the excess. I'm just gonna start below my cheekbone. I'm just kind of marking it like that, working my way up, and then blending upwards. Making sure it's nicely incorporated into the rest of the foundation. And you can see the definition right away. The next step, we're still going to contour. I contour the sides of my nose a little bit. Again, it's just with the powder. For this, I'm going to use very, very little bit. And I squish the brush just a little bit. And then I just tap it on the sides of my nose. Like so. This is to slim it down just a little bit. And then on the bottom. And you can already see that nose contour doing its job. See, that really does help to slim down your nose just a little bit. While that sets, I'm gonna go ahead and start with my eyebrows. So I'm gonna be using the E.L.F Cosmetics eyebrow pencil. And I'm going to be using only this side. I do not necessarily use this side for my eyebrows, at least not today. Sometimes when I'm doing a quick eyebrow, just kind of brushing through, then I will do that. but for the most part I just use the spoolie side. Okay, so for the eyebrows I'm going to be using, like I said, the spoolie side of the E.L.F Cosmetics eyebrow pencil, and then I'm going to be using another E.L.F Cosmetics angled brush. And for the actual eyebrow I'm going to be using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dipbrow pomade in medium brown. Okay, and so I'm gonna take the spoolie first and brush the little hairs on my eyebrows into the shape or the direction that I want them in. That'll make it easier for me to apply the Anastasia product. And then we're gonna go in with the angled brush and dip it lightly into the pomade. And then I like to put it on the lid and kind of distribute it around the brush evenly. And then we're gonna go into doing the brow. To the brow I like to get a little handheld mirror, that way I have better, so I can see a little bit better. Because I do use glasses and I can't see that well from far away. So then what I'm going to start off doing is taking the brush with the product. I'm going to start at the bottom and line it as straight as I possibly can. Starting kind of around in the middle. See, lining that, and then I'm going to go in back to the front. See, I lined it a little bit. Okay, and then the next step, I'm gonna be lining the top. So I'm gonna dip it again into the top of the Anastasia pomade and kind of spreading the product on the brush. And then I'm gonna be lining the top. I'm gonna follow the natural shape of my eyebrow plus enhancing the arch just a little bit. Again, I'm not starting directly in the front, I'm starting more towards the middle. I'm just going to go back in and define the arch just a little bit more. And then afterwards I'm going to fill in the whole eyebrow and like around here I'm going to stop. Okay, so I filled it in about 90%. And so this last bit here in the front, I'm just going to take whatever's left of product in the brush and kind of just making the lightest strokes possible so it'll be kind of like a gradient effect. I'm pretty happy with that. A special occasion, I'm gonna take the Maybelline Brow Precise Illuminating Perfection Brow Highlighter, and I'm gonna take a little bit of the product and just put it directly onto the bottom of my eyebrow. And now going back with my beauty blender, I'm gonna smooth that out into the rest of the foundation. I'm taking my finger for up here, that way it'll be a little bit smoother. And so I have more control over the blending. And as you can see, it highlighted it really nicely, and it kind of just accentuated the eyebrow. And then I'm gonna go and do my other eyebrow off camera, and then I'll be right back. Okay, now that both eyebrows are done, I'm gonna take the E.L.F Cosmetics brush again and brushing off all that extra powder from my T-zone area and from my contour, but not from my under eye yet, because now we're going to be working on eyeshadow and we want to leave that there to catch all the fallout from the eyeshadow. So for my eyeshadow today, I want to create a very dramatic look using like a maroon color, since I'm going to be wearing a maroon colored coat, some black, so mostly maroon and black, and I want a little bit of glitter or shimmer, not glitter, shimmer. So I'm going to be using a little bit of 3 palettes. The first palette that I'm going to be using is this Morphe palette, the little palette. It's super old, or not super old, but it's old, about a year or so old. As you can see, it's a little bit worn, just quite a bit. And I'm planning on using this shade right here and this shade right here. Those are going to probably be my transition shades. The next palette I'm going to use is actually the palette from my first tutorial, which is this one right here, the Colourpop Cosmetics I Think I Love You palette. And I really do love this palette. It is so versatile, and look at all those shades. They're just really pretty, and you have a lot to choose from, and I think with these colors you can do a lot. And then the last palette I think I'm going to be using, I'm still not sure if I'm going to use it or not. It was my Christmas gift from a very special somebody, and it's this palette right here. It was a holiday collection from Too Faced Cosmetics, and it's the chocolate shop, and it really does smell like chocolate because they are cocoa powder infused, and there's just so many colors to choose from. So I still don't know if I'm going to be using this or not, because I mean, just look at all those lovely colors. Again, so I'm going to use the other 2 palettes, and this one is still a maybe. I'm actually running out of time, so I'm only going to be doing one of the eyes on camera, and then the other one will be off camera, but you'll still get the same basic idea. Okay, so now the first thing I'm going to do is take this E.L.F Cosmetics angled brush. It's a different one. This one's from the, I think it was the silver or the platinum collection. And I'm going to take this brush, and then I'm going to take the Too Faced 24-hour insurance. It's for the, it's kind of like a primer for the eyeshadow, and it makes it last all day, and it helps it not fade, and it helps keep the fallout to a minimum. So I'm going to start off by putting a little bit of product onto the brush, and then I'm going to apply that all over my eyelid. And I decided that I'm going to use this palette first, the Morphe, the little palette. And this one is in this color, because they were a couple sets. So I'm gonna take this shade right here. Man, it is so worn out. So I'm gonna take this shade right here, and I'm gonna be using that, or should I start off with this one? No, sorry. Better yet, I'm gonna start off with this one as my first transition shade, the lighter one. And I'm taking my E.L.F Cosmetics brush, the blending brush from my first tutorial, and just dabbing it into the eyeshadow just a bit and tapping off the excess as well. And then I'm going to start here in the outer corner, sorry. And you can see it has really, really good color payoff already. Getting a little bit more of that same color. And just darkening up the outer corner just a little bit. Okay, so that's good as the first transition shade. From here it looks well blended. So then the next shade I'm gonna take is this darker maroon shade, and for that I'm gonna be using the E.L.F Cosmetics crease brush. This one right here. This one is really, really good to get a good amount of color for the outer corner. And again, dip it into the color, tap off the excess, and I'm going to start off by applying it here in the outer corner. Good amount. And for this I'm going to be darkening the crease. And so now I'm going to go back with the blending brush and blend in those two colors together. I think that's a good kind of start to the color. So then, like I said, I'm going for a very dramatic look. So I'm taking that same crease brush and I'm going into another palette now, the Colourpop Cosmetics palette, and I'm going to be using the shade Rule Breaker, which is this black shade right here. And for this look, I'm taking more of a generous amount than I did in my first tutorial because, like I said, I want it a lot darker and more defined and dramatic. I'm going to start off there in the outer corner and putting a really good amount and kind of putting that about halfway into the crease. And now we're going to take that blending brush again and blend it out. We kind of want it to look a little bit smoky, so blend it as much as possible to the transition colors without losing the other two colors. Like if you look closely, you can still kind of see a little bit of that maroon color, and that's what I want. And now taking the crease brush, I'm gonna get that rowdy shade. No, not rowdy, I'm sorry, the Rule Breaker shade. Thinking of my last tutorial. And I'm gonna be putting it on the bottom. And I feel like doing this, it'll definitely make it look a little bit more dramatic Alright, and so for my next step, I decided that I'm going to do kind of like a cut crease. So I'm gonna get some of that lighter foundation, the 110, the Maybelline foundation, and I'm going to be putting that all in my eyelid and kind of defining my crease a little bit. With this one right here, this light color one, it's called My Treat, and that one I'm gonna put over the foundation that we just put on. There we go. And now I'm gonna go in with the shade My Type, and that one I'm gonna use this same brush. It's the E.L.F Cosmetics C brush. Next, I'm going to take another crease brush, and I'm going to be taking this shade right here. It's called Girl's Bite, and that I'm going to be using as a highlight in my inner corner. As you all know from my previous video, the liquid liner that I use is the Jafra liner, the Jafra Inkwell liner in black. I use the Maybelline Great Lash Mascara and lots of lashes. So cute, it has a little heart. And actually, I thought I was using Black is Black, but I'm using the Very Black. And so this is what the wand looks like. Yes, it's very small, but I find that it's very effective at separating your eyelashes and also giving them a really good volume. I start from back here and I kind of give it like a spin like that, and I find that it lifts up your lashes without having to use the eyelash curler. I'm actually really happy with the way this came out. So the last step for me is going to be applying some blush, and I'm going to be using the Estee Lauder Sculpting blush in the shade 410 Rebel Rose, and I just kind of dip it into there. And it adds a nice pop of color. So now I'm just going to move on to the other eye and then we'll be done. And that's it, guys. That's it for this tutorial. This is a finished product, and I hope you really like this video. I know it was a rather long video, but I try to do a step-by-step process, and that always takes a little bit longer. But I hope you enjoyed it, and if you liked it, please subscribe to my channel. If there's anything that you want to see in particular from me, please let me know. You can send me a message on Instagram or write it in the comments below. Give this video a like, a thumbs up, and yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.